Hey guys, what's up? It's Vatonage, and today I'm showing off my Draconic Evolution add-on. So if you want it to work, you have to turn on these three settings, and I'm going to turn on cheats just to go in creative. And it's an expansion add-on of Advanced Machinery, so you have to turn on Advanced Machinery as well. And then you can just make your world. So this add-on basically is a end game add-on. You can only do anything like after you've defeated the Ender Dragon, so it's really late game, which is really good because a lot of add-ons are early game. So here are, let me get a crafting table really quick so I can show you all the recipes. So down here at the bottom there are like 10 new item recipes that you can make. This is a Draconic infuser. I'll show you what it does later, but it's really important. And then there's two new generators. There's the Draconic generator and the Awakened Draconic generator. Both of them are pretty powerful, which is important because this add-on uses a lot of energy. And then there are 4 new exoskeletons, that's what they're called. And I'll show you what they do later, but they are really good. And then there's 2 swords, one does 25 and one does 15, and then 2 guns, which are really cool as well. And there's also a battery, which is to show how much power you have, but we'll go into all that later. So I'm going to get an end portal really quick so I can go to the end. So this add-on replaces the Ender Dragon and makes it stronger. So before you come fight the Ender Dragon, make sure your gear is strong enough because it does a lot more damage and it has a lot more health. Like if I just get a normal netherite sword and attack it, it won't really do very much compared to the normal Ender Dragon. But I'm just gonna kill it really quick so that it dies easily. And wherever it dies, it drops this thing called a dragon heart. And if you right click it, then you can pick it up. And that is a really important add-on item for this add-on. So you'll want to get as many as you can. You can also respawn the Ender Dragon just like normal to get more dragon hearts. Just like this, and once it dies again, you can get another dragon heart. And yeah, so you might have noticed another ore here in the end. If you break it, then it drops an item called a Draconium ingot, and they're pretty common. I'm just gonna fly around really quick just to show you that there's a lot of them, or not a lot, but you can find them pretty easily, especially if you can like fly under the islands. You can find a lot more. Yeah, there's some more right there. And they also spawn in the outer end islands, and I'm just gonna kill the Ender Dragon again really quick to show you that you can get another heart if you wanted. As many hearts as you want, as long as you get end crystals to respawn it. And yeah, so now I'm going to show you what each of the new items do. So first, I'm just going to get a power core from the Advanced Machinery add-on. And you can power it just like normal with solar panels or any other power generator. But just to make it easier, I'm going to get some Draconic generators. So these are just passive generators like solar panels. You don't really have to do anything with them. And they're pretty expensive, but if you have a lot of them, you can start getting a lot of power. So we're already a couple thousand, so that's really good. And I'm just going to get a little bit more of these because this add-on uses a lot of power, so you're going to need a really good power system before you really get started. So the power core is getting pretty close to filling up to max, so I'm going to pick up this Draconic infuser. So this is a really important block that is used to get awakened draconium ingots. So once you have 100,000 RF in your power core, you can either drop it on it or right click it, and it will turn into a awakened Draconium ingot. And we're gonna have to wait for it to fill up again, because if you right click it when you don't have enough power, then it removes the item. So make sure you have enough power in there before you try turning it into an awakened Draconium ingot. So now we have 100,000, so we can just right click it and get another ingot. So that's how you get that stuff. And let's go back into survival really quick so I can show you the rest of the recipes. So yeah, this needs a dragon heart, so to do anything you need to kill the ender dragon at least once to make this. This is probably what you're going to spend your first dragon heart on, so you can start getting awakened Draconium ingots. And you might notice that some recipes require like a Draconium block, and they don't show up in the recipe menu. You just have to put them in and it'll work, but it doesn't show up anywhere. And it's the same thing with awakened Draconium ingots, and you can just place them or break them, whatever you want to do with them. And so let's just craft this awakened Draconium sword really quick, and I guess we can craft this as well. So this does a lot of damage, but it also does something special when you right click. But for it to work, you need to have power on your character. So let's give myself, actually let's go in creative. And so you're gonna have to get a Draconium battery and one of the 4 exoskeleton things. So I'm going to quickly explain what all of the exoskeletons do. So this is kind of a weird one, so I'll go over this one last. But these 3 exoskeletons each give you like passive effects and allow your character to store 100,000 RF. So you can equip one of these at a time. So let's just equip the movement one for now. So if you don't have any on, then you won't have any RF storage. But if you right click this battery, it just says how much RF you have. You don't have to have the battery for it to store RF. The exoskeleton stores it. The battery only shows how much RF you have. So right now we have no RF, and if we stand on this, then it starts taking RF from the power core. So now, as you can see, it's slowly filling up if we check the battery, but it also drains from the power core. So as you can see, I have speed 4 and jump boost 6 from the movement armor. And if I check this, it will slowly go down, but it doesn't really go down very fast. Yeah, see, it just went down by 1,000. And it doesn't show the exact value, it just only shows it by 1,000. But now I'm going to put on the defense exoskeleton. So as you can see, we still have RF, but it just changed what it does. So now we get fire resistance and resistance from this defense one, which is pretty good. And then this one, the saturation exoskeleton, it doesn't really decrease the RF as quickly as the other ones, but it basically makes it so you don't get hungry. So I'm just gonna put this one on really quick and give myself some hunger. So now we're gonna start losing all our hunger, but if I turn this on, then it instantly goes back to full. So you won't have to eat ever again once you have the saturation exoskeleton on, which is really nice. And last but not least is the battery exoskeleton. This one does not drain over time at all, but it lets you store up to 500,000 RF, which is going to be really good, as I'll show you soon, because these things also drain RF really quickly. So let me just get out the 4 new weapons that are added. So there's 2 new swords and 2 guns, and they're pretty expensive and take a lot of power to operate. So this Draconium sword, when you right click it, it just gives strength 2 and regen 4, which is nice to have, but also slowly decreases the amount of power you have, and also decreases the durability as well. But this one, when you right click it, it gives speed 2, strength 3, and regeneration 5, which is a little bit better than the other one. But it decreases the power a lot faster, so you have to watch out for that. And now there are 2 new guns that are added, the Draconium Cannon and the Awakened Draconium Cannon. Both of them also drain RF really quickly, so you don't really want to use them like a lot. But this Draconium Cannon, when you right click it, it shoots off a little beam which causes explosions behind it. And it does a lot of damage. Like if I just shoot at this sheep, it'll take some damage from the explosion, and if it gets hit by the actual ray itself, then it'll do a lot of damage. Like if it just hits it, then it will do a lot of damage, but the explosions also do a lot of damage as well if it doesn't hit the thing directly, which is nice. And the Awakened Draconium Cannon does basically the same thing, but it does a lot more damage. So the explosions do more damage, and see, that one instantly kills the zombies. And the ray themselves do a lot more damage as well. I'm pretty sure this one, the ray does like 35 damage, and on this one the ray does 50 damage. So it does a lot of damage to basically anything. And if you want to use these a lot, I recommend using the battery exoskeleton. But if you want to use like a sword, then the defense or movement would be good. And saturation is just good if you're like not fighting at all. You can just not worry about your hunger. And if you for some reason want to take off your exoskeleton that you currently have on, you can just right click a dragon heart and it'll take your exoskeleton off. And as you can see, if I try to use the battery, it doesn't work because I don't have an exoskeleton on. And if I just put an exoskeleton on, then it'll say 0 RF because it resets what power you have once you take it off. So yeah, that's basically everything in this add-on. It's pretty overpowered, but all this stuff is really expensive, so yeah, it's really late game. But I hope you guys enjoyed this add-on, and if you have any other add-on ideas, make sure you put them in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.